Hey, Bob, we've gone suck my balls, everyone. It's me again, Cyborgraptor, or Matt. I don't care who you call me. It's another Cyborgraptor's Transformer Quadrilogy review for Transformers Dark of the Moon, the third installment in the Transformers film franchise. So let's just dive right into it. The year 2011. At this point, people are thinking that Transformers are not really the coolest anymore. The first movie was awesome, but the second movie, everyone thought it was fucking gross and stupid. And here we are with another one, with people in mind thinking, "Oh, great, more explosions and metal on metal." You know how are they gonna do it? Are they gonna mess up again? Well, at least this time there wasn't a wider strike. There wasn't a director's strike. No strikes at all. In fact, everything looked pretty smooth when the filming. Everyone thought it was cool. We went no more fighting in the desert, where there's no like collateral damage. This time, once again, we're back in the city. A bunch of people getting blown up and shit. And they actually had time to actually think about it and write it and plan a little bit more. Actually have a full script while filming. And truly, I could say that Transformers Dark of the Moon is better than Revenge of the Fallen. Would I say it's better than the first movie? No. But it is more enjoyable, and robots and human scenes alike. The parent scenes were cut out like very quick. Like they weren't there more than they should have been. Thank God. Also, while you think about it, they really shouldn't be there at all because they're just annoying in general. But I digress. I guess we should just kind of do a whole another quick summary of what happened. Pretty much, it's been a couple years after Revenge of the Fallen. Sam is out of college. He's trying to get a new job. He has a new girlfriend. I guess Michaela dumped him. Guess so. And he's living with this hot, like, blonde with, she's super rich. And she kind of, like, gives him lunch money as he looks for a job while she already has a job. And he's trying to, get all his job applications and job interviews. While this is happening, the Autobots are working with humans again, still on Nest. They're still like looking for Decepticons and shit. They find an engine piece from a Autobot ship that crashed in the 60s, which caused the whole moon landing to happen. Turns out there's a very important Autobot and an important MacGuffin-like item in the ship. The Autobots go to the moon. They rescue Optimus Prime's old mentor, Sentinel Prime, the first leader of the Autobots before Optimus. And they bring him back home along with the big MacGuffin, which is the space bridge. They activate Sentinel Prime. They say, "Oh shit, this is important." And while this is happening, all and stuff, Decepticons kind of attack a little bit. Turns out Sentinel Prime is working for the bad guys. Oh no! Oh man, he kills Ironhide. Oh no! I would totally have cared a little bit if I, got to new Ironhide, but I didn't. Darn! If only he wasn't just the big guy with the big guns. Nope. Honestly, when he died, I just didn't care. Going on, the Decepticons take over Chicago with Megatron. He's still out there. He looks like some guy. He looks like a Mad Max reject. Starscream's still there being a bitch. Soundwave's on Earth. And he looks fucking cool. He has these cool like satellite things on his arms, and he has Laserbeak who talks. It's kind of weird, but it's awesome still. Big battle happens in Chicago. Optimus Prime confronts Sentinel Prime. They fight a little bit. The blonde girl calls Sentinel Prime a bitch. Sorry, no, she calls Megatron a bitch, and it causes him to help Optimus kill Sentinel. And then Optimus Prime rips off Megatron's head as saying thank you. So that's the end of that. That's pretty much the end of that first trilogy. That is like is this whole like Chicago War is going to cause a big event that is going to last for all movies to come, because a lot of people died. It's like the Decepticons took over an entire city of Chicago, and a lot of cons came in, killed a lot of people, and this is the big battle that will be referenced for future movies that take place after Dark of the Moon, obviously. Really, it's like I would say, like as a movie, it was once again it was longer than Revenge of the Fallen, which Revenge of the Fallen was already too long to begin with. So that's like as a con, that's pretty bad for a movie. And unfortunately, like I guess it's not bad being a long movie if you can keep the audience's attention. And Dark of the Moon did that better than Revenge of the Fallen. But there are still times where, like, at the point where Sam is getting like his military buddies and going to Chicago, at that point I was like, I keep looking at my watch and like, God, there's still like an hour to go this movie, because that third act is long. It goes on for like it's like from 50 to an hour. I mean, in that third act is awesome. Like, it's just you're in the middle of it all. It's nitty gritty. It's like dark. People are turning into bones. Excuse me, bourbon. The Autobots came back. They thought they were dead for a little bit, but they came back, and Optimus Prime just drops the whole like K word and starts like acting a little bit more merciless than usual. Like it was way fun to watch. Like it's like as Revenge of the Fallen only had one cool fight scene, this movie had plenty of them throughout the movie. It was really cool watching Optimus Prime fight the Driller in the beginning. There's an awesome scene with Ironhide and Sideswipe with the dreads. And then the entire just Chicago scene in general is so cool. Like the Wreckers were sort of weird. Like, well, the Wreckers are kind of dumb if you think about it. Like they're literally based off rednecks, and they turn the NASCARs, and like I don't know. It's weird that they because like one of the things the movies. Yeah, sorry. One thing that this movie did for the Autobots was introduce Stealth Force, which is the vehicle mode is still like there, but the weapons are out. And the Wreckers were like in permanent Stealth Force, which is kind of lame. I would like to see just like just plain NASCARs kind of driving by. But then again, they're also made to shoot shit and just fucking wreck and rule. Yeah, it was like I'm trying to like try to be more professional here. I'm trying to find like a good place to start and then go from there to then. But yeah, it is more fun. Like there's a lot of like not as annoying human characters. Like I think the only annoying human character for me is Bruce Brazo, the boss to Sam's new job. I love John Malkovich. If you've seen the movie, being John Malkovich, like that really just like kind of screws your mind. It's a really screwy movie. And then seeing like him in Transformers, it's fun to watch. Like, but he was still annoying. He didn't really had anything like important except like I think he dropped off something in the middle of the movie for Sam. But like he was all right. Like I really enjoyed what's his name? The Asian guy. His name was Wang in the movie. I really liked Wang, but only because I really love his character in Community, the show. Chang, like that is like, that is a really fun like character for that show, and he kind of just transport that same character to this movie, only that he's working with Transformers. And I personally enjoyed him only because of his past work in other shows. Patrick Dempsey, what's his name? Patrick Dempsey, Patrick Dreamy, Patrick SquarePants. I forgot his name, but pretty much he plays Dylan Gold. He was some asshole that worked with the Decepticons only because his dad worked with the Decepticons. And it was cool. It's cool to have like this is the first time like a human fought against the humans. Like seeing a human like not really willing to help the Decepticons, but he's grown up to the point where he's like it's used to him now, and like he's became sort of a badass. That was cool to see. Like there's nothing really dumb and annoying. I bet there is like some stupid little parts here and there. But the movie overall was more like it had a better like serious tone than the second one did. I felt like there was purpose going on with like the third one. It was fun to watch overall. Like there was no like unlike Revenge of the Fallen where there was like 30 to 40 minutes of just boring stuff going on. Dark of the Moon was it had more of like the plot was easier to follow, and which that obviously that helps you enjoy a movie more if you can understand what's going on. Which is it's interesting because for me, like Dark of the Moon is like different for me because I actually read the novel. There was a novel that came out before the movie came out in theaters, and I read the novel first, which literally breaks my first rule of like spoilers. But I read it, and that book did a lot of changes. It was like the book was based off the first script of the film. And there was a lot of things happened that were different. Like Mirage or Dino, he dies. He also had the ability to be invisible, but like Starscream kills him, and then Soundwave uses his chopped off head as a puppet. That was fucked up. Q doesn't die from Barricade. He falls into the lake, and the Decepticons are waiting for him in the lake, and they rip him apart. That would have been cool to see, but I'm sad they didn't change that at all. What else? Megatron doesn't die at the end of the third story. Megatron helps Optimus Prime defeat Sentinel Prime, and then Optimus Prime agrees to the truce, and they go to Cybertron to work on it together. Like that script was for the ending of the Transformers series in total. Also, sorry, I'm really gassy right now. Ooh, burping. There was also a cool part where Scuds and Mudflap were in the movie, and they were supposed to die by Sentinel Prime brutally. Like Sentinel Prime kills Ironhide, and then Sentinel Prime was going to shoot Mudflap. Skids jumps in the way and gets hit, and he rusts away and says like one last thing to this Mudflap. Mudflap goes insane, runs towards Sentinel Prime, and then Sentinel Prime puts the gun in Mudflap's mouth and pulls the trigger, rusting him from the inside. Damn, if only that was in the movie. I feel like fans would have loved that a lot. I mean, not Transformers fans, but the moviegoers would have been like, yeah, fuck those guys. Get what they deserve. And their designs were cool. Like, they had different cars, and I think Skids was supposed to get door wings with Mudflap. It would have been interesting to have them, like, back. Like, you know, I bet if they did put them in the movie, they would have been a little bit more tamer than they were in the second movie. But I understand why Michael Bay had to cut them out, because there were just so many negative reviews for them. All right, well, let's see a quick look at the comments here. I haven't looked at the comments at all before I continue on with my review. Hello there, Brony. Hello there, Megatron Productions. Logan, I'm not going to pronounce your last name. Okay, here. A couple questions here before I'll continue on with the review so I can think of things to say. I'm so bad reviewing, guys, but I just want to do this for the hype of for the fifth movie. One of the questions from Logan says, "Do you like Jazz?" He's cool. I would have probably liked him more if he didn't die in the first movie and he had like something like more. I mean, honestly though, if he did show up in the second movie, would he give him character? They didn't give Ironhide and Ratchet character. I wouldn't see him more. Like. He was like, his design was very like classic of all the few Transformer designs in movies that take from the G1 concept. It was like Jazz and Optimus, and really that's it. So I would like to see him. Yeah. Also, like, because if you notice too that in the first movie, all the Autobots' voices and Decepticon voices too, all of their voices are a tone like lower. Like the actors did the voices, but then they put like some kind of layer of editing over the voices to make them sound deeper. Then after 2, 3, and 4, they didn't do that deep layer at all. So if anything, Jazz would have sounded a little bit different if he survived. So I'm curious how he would have sounded like. But you know, obviously he dies. Yeah, even like it says, Dark of the Moon is the second bet. Either is the second beast or the second best. But I agree, it is the second best. Like, and hopefully, if it is true that 1 is good, 2 is bad, 3 is good, 4 is bad, then 5 automatically has to be good. I'm hoping. I mean, I watched a little bit of a review from some British kid, and he was saying how there was no plot for 5. Like, it was so bad there wasn't even no plot. That kind of scares me. But I still have hope. I mean, I always have hope, but they're always just gonna break me. Anyway, for what else for Dark of the Moon? They introduced Shockwave. That's really cool to see. His design was awesome, very similar to his G1 counterpart. Though his character wasn't brought back. It was more of just a mindless assassin compared to a scientist, which I knew that was going to happen. Like, I know they never really like bring a character's full-on personality back to them in the movies. The only person's personality that pretty much became the same was Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Megatron, and Starscream and Soundwave. Like, just the main bots. Anyone that was not like a household recognized name for the franchise just got a whole different character. Like, Wheeljack, for instance. for Autobots they added Mirage and Wheeljack, but they had to change the names for rights. Or I believe I know for Mirage they couldn't keep the right for the name Mirage, so they had to change it to Dino. And then for Wheeljack, I think they literally just changed it. I think there was a reason why they changed it. I can't remember now, but pretty much they couldn't give him that name, so they had to give him Q based off the weapons assessment guy from the 007 movies. Jack in this movie and also in the G1 cartoon was the weapons guy. He would make outrageous machines and then give them to the Autobots to use. And also like G1, they also just failed sometimes, like in Dark of the Moon with the boomstick. And Mirage too, like Mirage was named Dino, and concept art, they had it to where he was going to turn invisible. Like if you've seen the concept art, it was supposed to be like he was going to turn invisible from outside in. Like he would first, like his car parts would turn invisible, showing just like mechanical stuff, and then those would turn invisible, just showing his energon veins, and then that would turn invisible. Like that would have been cool to see. But I think since the fact that they couldn't keep the word Mirage, they decided to give him a whole new character, and then he was just Dino, the Italian robot that had blades on his arms. Which sucks because like he literally was like, and Michael loves Mirage, which sucks too because Mirage was cooler in the Dark of the Moon game movie than he was in the actual movie. Because in the movie he scared some people for one scene, and then he like took down one of the dreads, and that was it. Really, there was nothing else like cool, which sucks too because like he is like, he has a sweet cool car, he has these awesome blades, but they didn't like utilize him as much as they could have. Same with the reoccurring Autobots. Sideswipe from the second movie didn't do much. He talked more. If anything, he kind of I guess he gained more of a role. Like when Ironhide died, I noticed how Sideswipe was kind of giving commands. He gave command with Optimus in one scene, and then he also gave a command to the Autobots when they all came with the human military. So it seems that as right now, it goes Optimus Prime and then Sideswipe. Or Ratchet. I think maybe Ratchet and Sideswipe have like the same command. But that was cool to see. Like, that was cool at least that, he interacted more than he did in, Revenge of the Fallen, where he only said like 2 lines. I'm trying to think. So Ratchet had a new color change. That's really the only thing new about him. Trying to think. Yeah, Q was cool. Like he had like this weird like sniper on his back. He looked like Einstein, which really like confused my friends who were watching it. Because they were just asking me like, why does a robot have hair like that in the first place? Which I can't answer that. Oh, speaking of hair, so Wheelie's back, but with a friend of his, Brains, and Brains is kind of like in the comics that are not canon, he was a Decepticon that went rogue like Wheelie, and he's kind of like a brain module, and he does something. I don't know what. The comics didn't really explain that, but he escaped the Decepticons and went to the Autobots. And it was the entire different design too, so I don't know why they changed it. But so Brains in this movie is just this other small robot. He turns into a laptop, even though he literally has no signs of that on his robot mode. And like then that was it. So that was kind of cool. I guess he's smart. But yeah, for Decepticons, like I said, Soundwave's on Earth, like because Megatron's there and Starscream's there, and their characters don't really change. Megatron just has a hole that was left to him from the second movie. So he's kind of like a bit like just one of his head just has like a big hole in it, like where his scalp is, and Starscream's still there, literally acting just the same. Soundwave's on Earth. He has a vehicle mode of a Mercedes. He has a Laserbeak who talks, and Laserbeak transforms into a variety of different modes, which is really cool. Like that's super awesome espionage for a character that is meant for espionage. And then you have a whole bunch of different Decepticons. You have like a lot of proforms. Once again, a lot of them looking like blackout head ones are there. Like the ones that have more rounded heads from the second movie are there. There's some new like spikier ones. Like one that turns into a pickup truck shows up. There's this cool one, Decepticon called Devcon, that looks like the Cloverfield monster shows up, and he looks like At first, when I first saw that, I'm like, oh, is that Onslaught? Like, is that the version for Onslaught in the movies? But we now know that's not true. He had like 2 cannons, so I thought. He also turns to like a military, like his alt mode in the concept art is like a military, like large like truck bed vehicle. Like it looks like that's like one of those vehicles that like, you see that like hold like the giant nuclear bombs, but they drive, something like that. That was cool. We got the wreckers and the wreckers. Like I think I already mentioned them. So, like they said, like one was fat, Leadfoot. Then we have one that had like big sunglasses and like a hat. That was a Roadbuster. And then there's a Topspin who has a mullet. But unfortunately, like he has like the coolest design, but also he doesn't talk. Fifth movie, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up. And then there's also Sentinel Prime, which is really cool. So at this point, this is where like me and Michael, like we were kind of watching the whole movie being made online together. And I told him when the first trailer came out in December and it shows Sentinel Prime, everyone online was saying, "Oh, it's Unicron. Oh, it's Alpha Trion." And I remember, like when they were filming on set, someone mentioned Sentinel Prime, and I'm like, I think that's Sentinel Prime, because you can even see the same like ears Optimus Prime has. And but no one's like, there was like, nah, you're dumb. Like he's yellow. That has to be like Unicron. But I was right. I shoved it in everyone's faces, and that began my my combo of always guessing something right in the movies, but like before it comes out. Just hoping Unicron makes an appearance in 5. That'll be it. If Unicron doesn't make an appearance in 5, then my combo's broken. Anyway, he was cool. He had these awesome like these Darth Maul like blades, and he had like he had this cool like kind of like beard, nothing like Jetfire, where Jetfire's beard was just like a solid piece of metal. His were actually like metal wire, kind of spring together. That was cool. Also, it's interesting that I mean, they probably just designed him like this, but he also had a very knight like look. He had like a big knight shield and a knight sword, and even had like a cape. And I'm curious if like they had that in mind, but I really don't think so. Because if anything, I'm pretty sure they designed 3 to be the last one. So it's interesting to think, because if Optimus Prime was a knight, then for sure I believe that Sentinel Prime was also a knight as well. And I like how he kind of kept his knight look. What else? Who else am I missing here? The Driller, a original concept, giant metal worm. He wasn't really like the coolest to me. Like honestly, like when I heard there was a big transformer in the movie, I was a worm with drills. That's kind of lame, honestly. Like it's like, and he like the whole like the big money shot of the movie was him drilling through the building, which to me, like I don't know why, that didn't interest me. I was looking for something like Tidal Wave or like Terripticon. I wasn't expecting this big thing. Like the concept art calls it Colossus, so that might be its name, but mostly we just call it the Driller. It's kind of cool. It's apparently it's half of it is sentient, and the other half is more of a vehicle. Like there is a cockpit. There's concept art of Shockwave in the cockpit, and it's really cool. Like he has like reins. Like he has these wires that connect to his hands that looks like they control the Driller, kind of like reins of a carriage. Let's see. Who else makes his appearance? The Transformer. It's new. Let me look at the comments here. Maybe someone else is helping me out. Nah. Well, yeah, I don't think that's it for. I think for Transformers, I don't think I'm missing anyone else. But as for human characters, Sam is redeemed. Like he's not as annoying. He actually, it looks like Shia LaBeouf tried his best to act. Well, and I mean half the time. But then there's another half the time where he's literally just screaming at people, and that's kind of silly. Honey Rosington Whiteley, is that her name? The blonde-haired girl who plays Carly Spencer. She was all right. Like her and Megan Fox are like the same bar for me. Like they don't like like no one's like better. She was all right. I didn't really care much for her. Let's see. I really liked like Agent Simmons was more tolerable. I really liked his sidekick, Alan Tudyk's character, Dutch. which is funny that just was a couple weeks ago I met Alan Tudyk. He signed my Dark of the Moon Blu-ray DVD, and I asked him, hey, since John Turturro was in 5, would you ever come back for the Transformers movies at all? And he said just plain out no, like no, I'll never come back to any of those. So that's confirmed that Dutch will if not at least not Alan Tudyk will no longer play Dutch, but I'm pretty sure Dutch is no longer in the movies anyway. The dreads, I kind of forgot about the dreads. The dreads are cool. I really like Crankcase and Crowbar had these awesome like Predator-esque designs, and then there's Hatch, who kind of looks like a Predator if he was a giant bulldog. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Like of the 3, he's kind of like the lamest to me because he looks like just some giant dog with like a nose ring, and he dies like super quick anyway. But yeah, Crowbar was really cool. These giant like tentacle dreads, and then there's Crankcase, who straight up just looks like the Predator, and they all these awesome like spike knives, like they're just throwing at people. Like they're really cool. I'm glad they're bringing that back for the last night. Like, I mean, Crowbar's head is coming back, but not really the whole body, as the character Dreadbot. And then we now know that Berserker, Crankcase is Berserker, who apparently is a psychopath. So it's cool to have both those designs come back. I'm trying to, I believe, so as of right now, I think I've covered every Transformer. Go back to the human characters. If there was like another kind of like annoying character was the government woman, the one who like who hated being called ma'am. She was like I didn't like her at all. Every time I watched her, she didn't do anything nice, except near the end she helped like Sam because she realized that he actually is helpful. But she was such a bitch most of the time. I think it was funny that when they brought in Buzz Aldrin to play himself, like he literally looked like he was just staring up in the ceiling. Like Michael Bay just brought him to set and say, "All right, Buzz, you just gotta look up and just imagine there are robots." And he just looks like some like special ed guy looking up and seeing like nothing. It was a little silly to me. Like I knew for sure, like when he brought Buzz Aldrin, I'm like he ain't gonna do really good acting. But then again, he's only there just to be Buzz Aldrin. So what else can you do? I'm trying to think. Lennox did all right. It's interesting that Tyrese was not like with them. Like he apparently in the story, like he in the middle between Revenge of the Fall and Dark of the Moon, he got sick of the job and left and worked with NASA with the Wreckers. Nice to see that like both did good jobs. Like it was cool to see them come back together again. It's like it's good to have that. Like Ness overall looked cool too. Like it was like they're learning how to kill Transformers easily. Barricade shows up. I completely forgot about Barricade. Barricade, like out of nowhere, he doesn't come back in Revenge of the Fallen. We just suspect that he's dead, and then just out of nowhere, Barricade's just in the movie. He like when the Autobots are all held hostage, he's there. He kills Q. And then he's voiced by Soundwave. So weird, like to have him just there, and then we thought he dies. Like there's a great scene where like the military shoot out his eyes, and then you just see him kind of drop to the floor later on. And so I guess he just played possum and he dropped to the floor, pretend to be dead just to escape. So who knows? Like it's interesting that he just does that. I mean, yeah, that was cool to see. Gave Dark Moon a couple of cool toys from him. That was good purpose. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other human characters I'm missing here that are worth mentioning. Not really. Yeah, that's it for all of those characters. So I guess overall, Dark of the Moon was good. Like I wouldn't say like good as in like, oh, what a great like movie to watch. Like tell everyone. Like it's better than 2. So, which makes it okay. Like Dark of the Moon was fun. It was like the first half is a little slow with like a few cool scenes, but the second half is where like it gets crazy. Buildings falling apart, the whole city is destroyed, people are dying. Like it's great to see like Like I'm glad, like unlike 1 and 2, you can't cover up the whole city being destroyed. So I'm glad that the future of the franchise will always go back to Chicago because everyone is always upset about that. It's very similar to like the IDW comics. If you read those comics, the storyline for All Hail Megatron, it's the same kind of concept of like the Decepticons did destroy New York and then sort of the entire planet, and then the humans will never forget that. That's why they make a EDC, the Earth Defense Command, because of that. It's really so. It's so yeah. Dark of the Moon was. It's fun to watch. It's really cool. Optimus Prime doesn't die. Thumbs up for that. Optimus Prime's trailer was all right. Like it was cool having him blow up the trailer. That's very G1. Also, they changed his design a little bit. His chest was originally it was just red, but now they gave him this like rib cage thing that kind of like opens up and gives like that's where the Matrix goes in and out. Like I always thought that was like those were the pieces they replaced for him kind of blowing up. But yeah, it's like his trailer was cool. Like the weapons assessment thing, like the whole like an armory is awesome, and then the fact they can also turn into a jetpack with all the armory like on his hands, that's awesome. Megatron's new design was pretty all right. The cape, like the whole hood thing was but the fact that they kept it consistent to where he is still wounded, like the hand that he lost in Revenge of the Fallen replaced something else. He still has hatchlings in like these cans. They're kind of weird. Oh, then there's this long haul head that is alive, like all on its own. That has like little arms and legs called Igor. Shows up, and like he doesn't do anything. Like really, that's a very pointless character. I don't know why they had to put him in there. Like that's all right, I guess. Yeah, it's like unfortunately, like since there's nothing wrong with this movie, really, there's nothing really much to talk about it. It's good. Like if I can think of any like cons, that the pacing in the middle can get you a little bored, but otherwise like there's enough like comedy and action enough in both sides of the movie to keep you up. Like I remember with Sam and Wang in the bathroom, it was probably one of the most hilarious scenes of a Transformers movie like I saw. It's such a great awkward scene, especially like to have the boss to show up and they're both coming out of the stall, one with their pants down, is hilarious. Laserbeak, like there's one part Laserbeak turns into a pink bumblebee, and that was like way off-settling. Like it, I feel like there's a lot of darker tones in this movie where just straight up like because Laserbeak's later just like he's going to a house, entertaining this guy's kid, and then gets revealed, turns into a bird, and then shoots the dad. Happy Father's Day, by the way. Yeah, Happy Father's Day. But yeah, it's Dark of the Moon. Like, if I have to give Dark of the Moon a rating, so right now, movie 1, 2007, is an 8, and Revenge of the Fallen is a 4. That's the lowest thing I'm going to give a Transformers movie. So Transformers Dark of the Moon gets a nice 7. It's enough to pass. Like I will say, like when I was showing my roommates this movie, they were sort of confused. They like because this movie, like I mean, they do like a lot of things happen sort of in the middle that like you're kind of thinking like, whoa, wait, what happened? Because like when from Sentinel Prime betraying the Autobots to Sam losing his girlfriend to Sentinel Prime demanding all Autobots leave Earth to the Autobots leaving, like all that kind of just goes back to back to back, and like my roommates kind of got lost in that. Like from there to then, it was like my roommate was like, because like she just goes up to me and was like, what happened exactly? Like how did the Autobots just kind of disappear? So I had to explain them that, which means it kind of sucks for that because like it is true that literally like a lot of information kind of gets dumped on you throughout that those are between that's like probably 20-30 minutes. But it's only just like to get like that scene, like it had to be fast to make this movie not as long to get you just to the Chicago scene. I mean, there's some good parts in the Chicago scene that could have been cut out to make it shorter, because like that was a very long third act. Like they're in Chicago for a good 40, 50 minutes, and like they show everything happening. Soundwave gets killed, Starscream gets killed, Megatron gets killed, Sentinel Prime gets killed. Everyone dies. Like none of the Autobots really take a hit except Q. And like Mirage in the background walk in, the Wreckers don't get killed. Like literally, like I'm honestly surprised, because usually, I'm so full of air. Ugh. It's surprising, like, because usually like there have to be casualties on both sides, and the Decepticons really just almost like the majority of their entire army gets fucked, but then the Autobots lose one scientist. Like, talk about plot armor. That's literally. So yeah, Transformers Dark of the Moon gets a good 7 on the list. It goes from top to bottom: Transformers Dark of the Moon, and then Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Age of Extinction is that's tomorrow with Michael. Hopefully, I mean, I'm gonna probably start this review for Age of Extinction once again around 2:00. For sure, it'll be around 2:00, maybe 2:30 Western time, which means for those of you who live in Eastern, it's 5:00, 5:30. Because I will be busy in the morning tomorrow. So it's so I really can't think to find anything else to say about the movie. If you guys have anything else you want me to mention about it, I can't think of anything else. I pretty much mentioned everything about it. Like, unfortunately, because like it's like I said, like I'm starting to repeat myself because there's really nothing else to talk about it. Everything was like, it was just good. Like, if this Transformers Dark of the Moon was what Revenge of the Fallen should have been, like it was the exact kind of same story. Like, as if you compare Transformers 1 to Transformers 2, Transformers 2 is like it feels different because it's just a bunch of like new characters and a bunch of like more scenes with Transformers. But Dark of the Moon is exactly like Revenge of the Fallen. Lots of characters, lots of action. The only thing different is that it's the scenes are just done better, and no one's pulling down their pants, acting like a dumb roommate, or racial stereotypical robots. Now, and also like because we were talking about their roommates after watching 3, and they were saying how literally you could have, like, if you didn't watch Revenge of the Fallen and just watch Dark of the Moon, you could have been super okay with it, because the only things that changed between those movies is that Megatron's revived and Optimus Prime gets the Matrix leadership. Like, you can obviously like go deep into detail on other things that have happened, but you can totally like just say tell someone those 2 things and then they're ready for Dark of the Moon. Like, there's it's nothing else really is important in Revenge of the Fallen, unfortunately. But yeah, I believe that is it. Which is pretty sad because it's that makes it a small review. What I could do is give some more any news on Transformers 5. Like, for instance, I haven't talked about this before, but has anyone heard that song "Torches" from the Asian artist? Like, that's a great song. It's so catchy. It makes you like just lifts your spirits and makes you want to punch something. It's a good song. Let's see. There's new Transformers on set videos with Bumblebee saying his quote unquote lines for the movie. Right now, not right now. It just finished, but there was a live stream for Transformers London global premiere that's going on right now in London. So I think there's a new TV spot came out today, which kind of sucks because it showed not a major spoiler, but it showed a spoiler that was important enough to, like, I would have preferred to wait to see that in the movie, and it involves the death of a character, and I really could have just gone my whole life without seeing that. And for those who don't want to get spoiled, don't say anything if you've seen the TV spot. Don't comment anything about that, because that would suck for everyone else if you just went ahead and just like confirmed everything. Because like Michael almost he's told me that he saw a bunch of spoilers for last night, and I had to comment as fast as I could saying don't say anything. wait until I see it. Like he already told me something about a scene that I won't say. Like he said something to me, and now I know what's going on, which I will not repeat to you guys because I don't want you guys to know what's going on. Already did give me an innuendo of what's going to happen. So I'm kind of trying my best, guys. But literally, there's a TV spot every day, and it's always showing something new. Like if you guys have seen every trailer, every TV spot, you've seen probably about 30, 40 minutes of footage of this 2.5-hour movie, which kind of sucks. And then not to mention, and then if you're like me and you saw the 30-minute preview, then add like another 30 minutes to it, to where at that point you've seen almost an hour of the movie before the movie is out. Yikes. God, I hope there's like just this. There better be like a lot of crazy scenes happening here. Yeah, I'm going through the comments here. Nachos, 69 Nachos is saying how Quintessa is says primed to find Unicron, which I hope that's true. I mean, and don't like confirm if it is true or not, because at this point, a good number of people probably know spoilers. So we're trying to we're trying to make this a spoiler-free environment. You hope it's Unicron's in the movie. Like way back, if you guys watch our trailer analysis for the second trailer, I'm telling the guys how I think Unicron is in the Earth, and the whole reason this Cybertron planet is scooping Earth off, and it's the reason why it's grabbing the Earth is that it's kind of shoveling Earth away to show Unicron like it's the basic Unicron. Speaking of Cybertron, let's talk about that for Dark of the Moon. So Cybertron, Dark of the Moon, pretty much is a live-action adaptation of the episode in G1, The Ultimate Showdown. Is that it? Or the Ultimate Breakdown? I don't know. Where the Decepticons bring Cybertron into Earth atmosphere, and and they try to send humans to go work on Cybertron. The exact same plot for Dark of the Moon. And Cybertron, this shows the official Cybertron design. There was a Cybertron design way back in the first movie, but it was only on the website, and it looked like Play-Doh with some pieces of glass in it. So this one's official look. It's just honeycombs formed into a planet. There's a great shot in the beginning of the movie with when you go it's a quick shot of the planet close, and it's showing the Autobots and Decepticon fighting, just all protoforms, showing these awesome large hatchet tanks. They're they look just like the bulldog cat thing, but they have those giant blasters on their backs. Those look cool, very war mammoth-y. And then there's the whole thing where it's because in the movie in Dark of the Moon, obviously Cybertron is being pulled in by the space bridge, but then there's that one part of the movie where the space bridge turns off and cuts Cybertron in half, technically, because literally you see it turn off and then you just see nothing, and Cybertron's just half there. So, as you can tell, Cybertron is also very large. It's larger than the Earth for sure. But then in the last night, the planet that you see is smaller than Earth. It's bigger than the Moon, but smaller than Earth. So I think I already mentioned this in my past reviews already. But I think the reason why, if that is Cybertron, I think that when they teleported Cybertron in, they cut it in half. So only that half was being teleported in. And then that half got destroyed in the end with that big black hole. So I think now only one half of Cybertron remained. And then Quintessa, at some point between the movies, got to that half Cybertron, kind of ripped it apart and pulled it back together, tying it together with his core. And now it's just that's why it's smaller, because it's technically just half the planet just ripped apart and then tied together again. That's the theory. I don't think that's legitimately what happened. There's still people saying that that's not even Cybertron. I think it's Cybertron, but it could be something else entirely. It could be just something that that Quintessa just made out of nowhere. It was nothing, and then Quintessa just got a bunch of transformium and made a half a planet. Just like Gobatron from the GoBots. I don't think that's it though. So yeah, but part of Cybertron, because the designs are very similar. They both have this honeycomb. Then again, you can also just say that since they made a planet before, they just based off the same design, just they didn't finish it. Kind of like the Death Star and the Death Star 2, like it's Cybertron 2, but just not finished yet. But yeah, that's it. I with mentioning Cybertron and Dark of the Moon, there's nothing like no other big plot thing for Dark of the Moon that they that needs to be mentioned. So there you go. That's my Transformers Dark of the Moon review entirely. Now I can see if there's anything. Let's check if there's anything on the Transformers news website worth talking about. Honestly, I don't think so, but who knows? Because recently they were just talking about Transformers masterpiece movie Optimus Prime. There's pictures of that, and that is looks like a great toy. Like if you had a fight between the movie Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Optimus Prime and this Optimus Prime masterpiece, the masterpiece wins. Like I mean, even if you love the Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class, I'm sorry, but it just looks better. Stills. And if you guys want to go on TFW 2005, because I mean, I could screen share this. Let me just try to screen share this. Fucking do it. Screen share. Oh boy. Okay. There we go. Here, share. Am I sharing? Yeah, I'm sharing. Alrighty. Okay. Let's see. Let's go here. So we have a look here at screenshot of. Sorry, here. We got Mohawk's vehicle mode. We got a good picture of Cogman. You got TRF with Lennox and Saratoga or something like that. He's like the leader of TRF. Got a good picture of Dragonstorm. Oh god, look at Dragonstorm. He looks fucking badass. It looks like Cage is gonna be like confronting the Knights. Badass. Look up the sky. Cogman's looking down in the sky. He's looking down again. Oh, look at that. Got Barricade with Megatron. So I guess Barricade shows up in the desert with Megatron, maybe? I don't know. And we got TRF getting ready to assemble, do something. Yeah, that's it. But God, like the best overall is that picture of Dragonstorm. Look at that. That's insane. Oh God, there's so many theories on what Dragonstorm is because one toy makes him one large bot. Two toys make him one large bot. But then another toy makes him two bots. So like what is it then? Like it's like I personally think that Dragonstorm, I want to say possibly because like, he looks like a bunch of things. Also I just realized I'm screen sharing just YouTube, huh? Okay, we're back to that. It looks like he's ripped apart and then formed together again, like a bunch of just random metal just combined to form a three-headed dragon. So right now my theory is that Dragonstorm is all the knights and they all kind of just clash together to make this dragon. Like the three-headed dragon the three heads symbolize that it's more than one entity making one larger entity. But honestly, it could be anything. It could be just one large transformer, like in the giant brick of a toy, that big turbo changer. Or it could be like leader class where it's just two knights combined. But I personally think that's all the knights knocking down each other and becoming one big fucking dragon. God, like this. So did the creators just create a bunch of designs? Like they made the dinosaurs, they made dragons. God, they're probably like if the Transformers Rome movie's coming out, then they're probably made like horses. It's interesting. Like why? Like I don't know why the Renaissance just decided to make all of this stuff. But yeah, that's cool stuff. Let's see. So I'm trying to think of something to talk about while we're here. Some point in one of these live streams, I want to rant about Transformers Rise of the Darkspark, which we probably will tomorrow because Michael wants to kind of fight me with that. Transformers Rise of the Darkspark is the fucking most garbage Transformers game in existence. But he's fights me saying it's still good. But then again, Michael says that anything Transformers is good. I never heard him like say anything bad about a Transformers toy or like anything about Transformers, honestly. So probably tomorrow after we review Age of Extinction, we're probably gonna have a second discussion of fighting over if Dark Spark is a good game, which Michael's gonna lose because I'm gonna fucking just throw a hailstorm at him with all the reason why it's fucking balls. This fucking balls. Anyway, yeah, not really much. Like, I guess is really it, guys. I mean, there's nothing much. Like the comments aren't coming in. It looks like this is the end for me. It's actually, I don't even know how long this has been going on for. We made it a little bit too early, but then as long as I get this review in. So I'm trying to think if there's any other news before I get going here. Yeah, if you guys haven't heard it yet, listen to that song "Torches." It's a Transformers Last Night like song. The song's for the movie. It'd be awesome if you hear it in like the movie. It's such a nice song, and it is even though it's sang by an Asian artist like from China, it is full English. So check it out. The music video is badass too. There has to be something else about Dark of the Moon I gotta mention. Did you guys like the Dark of the Moon toys? Because like this Dark of the Moon is when the toys shrunk. The deluxes got small, and then the deluxes and the Voyagers shrunk sizes to a point where, like a Transformers 1 deluxe was almost as big as a Transformers 3 Voyager. Like right now, I've seen Voyager Optimus Prime for the Last Night, which is about the same size as Voyagers, back then too. And like it's like I'm pretty sure if I had a deluxe like Movie 1 Barricade, he'd probably be almost as big. Because remember, Transformers 2, we had Voyagers like Long Haul, and he was massive. And then like the Fallen 2, the Fallen who's the Voyager, he was also large. And they were cheaper too. Oh man, like Dark of the Moon was also when the toys got more expensive, where deluxes were 12, but now are like 15, and Voyagers were 20, but now they're 25. And then with this new movie, with the Last Night, deluxes are $20, and the Voyagers are $30. Unless you go to Walmart, the prices didn't change in Walmart, but in other areas, to know that you're buying a deluxe figure for the same price to what was a Voyager in Revenge of the Fallen. Oh, so bad. And like in Dark of the Moon figures were pretty cool. As of right now, like I think the best Bumblebee, well, until like the Last Night was out, like that was probably like the best Bumblebee for that as a deluxe size. That was Dark of the Moon. Dark of the Moon caused the ride, Transformers the Ride, which was if you guys never been to Universal Studios, because not many people can. There's only 2 places. Like I've had the luck of experience it multiple times because I'm one state away. I live in Arizona, so I just drive to California and I go to Hollywood. And it's such a great ride. It's like if you want to experience what it's like to be in Transformers, oh god, if you like the best spot is to sit in the middle in the front, like front of the cab in the middle seat, because you get the full on experience. Like oh god, there's a great scene where like near the end of the ride, Optimus Prime goes up to you and talks to you, and it's the most realist experience. It's like Optimus Prime is right there in your face because it's 3D and it's right there, and then you see Megatron's it's kind of like above you in the end of the ride, and that's all practical effect. Like it's an amazing experience, and also like and the best part is that if the line's long, it's good because the line is also part of the ride. Because every time you get closer to the ride, the story continues. Like the story is that you are a new like operative of Nest, and you're supposed to be you're getting ready to train for Nest, but then the Decepticons attack, and your training is halted, and you have to go with Evac, the Autobot evacuation vehicle, and you have to help Evac get the Allspark Shard away from Megatron. And what's really cool is that if you are lucky enough, if you because there's a bunch of screens in line, you will see Bumblebee, and Bumblebee talks. Like he's straight up. He's no radio. He talks to you, and it is the Mark Ryan voice, which once again it doesn't sound right for this character Bumblebee, but he says like one full-on line of dialogue to you, but then his voice like breaks in the middle of the talking, and he goes back to radio. But like that's the only sample you'll ever hear of Bumblebee straight up talking to you instead of like the first movie. Like if you guys go on YouTube and look up like Bumblebee talking Transformers: The Ride, you should probably find it. It's surprising to hear. Also, like it's really great to have ILM, the people that design, like animate the Transformers. They help with the ride, so it's this it makes the feel more authentic. You see like props there. The prop for Scorponok's tail is part of the line. That was cool to see. The gift shop looks cool, but everything's expensive as fuck. But I'm glad, like, because of Dark of the Moon, we got that ride, and because we got that ride, Michael Bay continued to do Age of Extinction, which is that could have been a good or bad thing, honestly. But okay, now I feel like I'm officially talk for Dark of the Moon. Let's see. I'm going to see the comments here. New guy comment, Chiron. I'm sorry, dude. I can't pronounce your name right. Well, okay. Chiron's doing some good talking. You just tell everyone that the world's good. Good job for Chiron. Not just say that I like Dark. Do I like Dark of the Moon's B better than Battle Blades? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait, let me Google Battle Blades. Let me just make sure, because there's so many fucking Bumblebee toys. I'm probably skipping something here. Let's see, Bumblebee. Wow, I can't spell Bumblebee. Fucking dumbass. Battle Blades. Battle Blades? Oh, that's right. The Hunter for Decepticons, Revenge of the Fallen-esque Bumblebee. Where's Revenge of the Fallen? Looks like it. Well, actually, does similar to Dark of the Moon. I guess, yeah, it is Revenge of the Fallen based. Honestly, I actually never owned Battle Blades Optimus Battle Blades Bumblebee, but the toy from what the picture is, it looks cool. But I guess in my opinion, since I've owned that Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, that it's like the best. I mean, from what I look at now, I can see why like that looks like a great Bumblebee toy, because it looks fucking awesome. I mean, how I'm seeing a picture of it compared to the new Camaro first movie Bumblebee. That is way better than that. That's for sure. But yeah, I can see why. That is pretty badass looking. But I personally think that just Dark of the Moon, it's my baby. I've had that toy for a long time. But yeah, Brony says that he did use his radio. Yeah, that's true. But if you're in line, he does talk for like 5 seconds. But then his voice does break, and he does use the radio, and then he continues using the radio in the ride. Like in the official ride, he uses radio, but in line, he talks, and that's crazy shit. But yeah, I'm trying to think, because like for me, my favorite toy for Dark of the Moon, for sure, had to be Shockwave. Oh god, like for robot mode, that's hardcore. Like it got everything right. I mean, it's kind of lame, like with Shockwave, and also you can say the same for the Fallen in Revenge of the Fallen. The whole like bullshit Cybertronian vehicle modes, like that's, you can totally tell. Just kind of like, how do you fold this guy to make a car or a tank? Okay, that way. Because like I don't know, like, because like I feel like, do you guys? Okay, here's a question for you guys in the comments. Do you guys think that Shockwave turned into a tank? Do you think he had the ability to turn into a tank but just didn't do it in Dark of the Moon, or do you think he literally had no other form and couldn't? Because there are plenty of times where the Shockwave would have benefited to turning into a more mobile vehicle, but he didn't. He just kind of walked. So do you think he had a vehicle mode? Like I personally think that the Fallen can't transform. I think the Fallen's too old. Like his design was based off like just like he was not designed to transform. I don't think neither of the original Primes were designed to turn to a different shape. but it's okay for them because they teleported. They had like pretty much they had inner space bridges inside them, kind of like how Jetfire does. Also, they're extremely powerful. And they didn't need to transform. I mean, there is concept art of the Fallen having an Earth mode. It was going to be based off a what do they call that place? Area 51. It was like there's this Area 51 like test jet called like the Aurora or something like that. And there's concept art of him. You know, oh geez, I'm gonna burp. Nope, of course. Oh, there it goes. Anyway, there is concept art of him turning into that, but obviously it's not used, and he looks kind of weird in the Earth mode of the Fallen. It looks like they kind of like put like a frying pan over him and just flattened him, and then they kind of just like left a mark. Like he looks all like kind of hunched, like Danny DeVito. So I'm glad they didn't do that. But yeah, so I wonder if Shockwave could turn to some kind of vehicle. Like I honestly don't think so. But then again, also like at this point, Dark of the Moon, and they kind of continue this as Age of Extinction. Anyone can turn to anything. Like they kind of like removed the idea of kibble in general. Like especially in Age of Extinction. Like, well, I'll talk about this more in that review tomorrow. But like if you realize that in Age of Extinction, almost no one had kibble. Like Optimus Prime, for example, the only kibble he had was his smokestacks. Everything else was just full on just body. There was nothing else that was car related. Same with like Crosshairs, Hound. Like for instance, like how does Hound turn to that long vehicle? I'm not. Okay, I'm going too much into that. That's for tomorrow. But so yeah, it's like. If you can totally like fight over that Shockwave could turn to anything really. He can turn to a jet. He can turn to a tank. They just didn't show it in the movie. And the toy isn't going to be. I don't think the toy makes it canon because it's a toy, the official toy. Like I think that's just a way for Hasbro to make to sell a Shockwave toy. Because you gotta have a Transformer transform. You can't just not have that. Also, in like Dark of the Moon, the game, for instance, in the Dark of the Moon game, he didn't transform into a tank. He literally which kind of made it kind of bullshit because Shockwave was a cool character to use in the Dark of the Moon, the game, but he was the only Transformer that couldn't transform. You had to walk. If you're shooting like Bumblebee or something, and the player you're fighting turned to a car and drove away, you're stuck, and you had to just slowly walk towards him, or just forget about him and just walk somewhere else. And he wasn't even like the strongest character. So yeah, in my opinion, I don't think he could transform. I think he just didn't have a vehicle mode to pick from. Then if you try to like defend it with Megatron having a Cybertronian vehicle mode in the first movie, like I always had a thought process to where what if that jet mode for the first movie for Megatron wasn't Cybertronian? What if that's a jet from a whole different alien planet that he took from? Like what if it's the Nebulons? I have this secret theory that the Nebulons are the guys in the movie Battleship. With the weird like spiky beards. Like how cool would that be? Because they're both Hasbro, licenses. They can totally make it for the Nebulons. Like that's a Transformers movie. Because the ships look very similar to the Transformers ships. And also in G1, they had technology that was similar to Transformers as well. Like, Zarak created a whole like Transformer and looked just like it came from Cybertron. So I'm just saying, like Battleship, Battleship could be Transformers 2.5. We didn't even know it. If only. I mean, it's not true at all. But yeah, I think that's it. Okay, I literally just said I think that's it times, but I am convinced this is it. So I'm gonna just shut up now. I'm gonna end this live stream. So thank you all for watching. Did you agree with my review of Dark of the Moon as it being right now number 2 on the list of good to bad? Is there anything you guys want to see? Anything you guys didn't say anything? Put it in the comments after this live stream's over. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoy your rest of your day. It's Father's Day. Say hi to your fathers. Give them a good kiss for me. Specifically me. And get ready, because Transformers: The Last Night is only officially 2.5 days away. It's fucking crazy. And I can stop like thinking what happens, and I'll just know what happens, and then it's just there. and then that's it. Apparently, like that's the final chapter, and then the rest are just prequels and stuff. Because apparently, I was watching a video before I go off and say that's it. I watched some guy's video and saying how the last night apparently is going to start the cinematic universe for Transformers. So whatever happens in the end of that movie is going to cause it to where we're going to be like, oh shit, this is opening up all these movies in the future. Kind of like what Avengers does. But we'll see. So you guys have a great time. I hope it does good. But Brony thinks it'll do good. I hope so. I feel it in my penis. But we can all just hope. I mean, honestly, for all the shit that's going to happen in that movie, it's probably going to be bad. But I don't want it to be. I really don't want it to be. They hired like 10 people to write this movie in a room, so it can't be bad. If 10 people can come together and still make a bad movie, then Transformers is just cursed to be bad forever. All right, guys, I'm gonna stop wasting your time. Thank you for watching. You guys have a great time, and I'll see you tomorrow. So subscribe more for more live streams from TFA 1024 and not me, because I'm just doing this to the fun. Enjoy yourselves. You have a great time. Let's go out there and change your shape and walk somewhere. There you go. Have a great time. Goodbye. I love you.